I'm Lynne Howlett and I'm the Assistant HR Director at Newcastle University with specific responsibility for leadership talent and succession.
I'm Mark Crabtree. I'm Assistant Director of CAROD, which is the Centre for Academic Research and Organisation Development, and my responsibilities are on leadership and management development across the institution. Back in 2002, when I joined the university, one of the challenges that I was set is to look at how we develop leaders across the institution. And as part of my, induction into the sector, I went round and talked to other institutions, and I met Lynne, and we had a conversation, and we started talking about leadership development and how we support our leaders. And I think we realised we were saying the same things, we were set the same kind of challenges, and that I think allowed us then to explore how we can actually deliver that. And we came to the Leadership Foundation.
I think the thing that has been most useful for us about working with the LF has been its credibility within the sector and with our academic leaders. It's one of the few, if not the only, leadership development provider in higher that works solely in the realm of higher education, and the facilitators typically have got a complete understanding of the context, have often been academic leaders themselves, so that was a real selling point for us. I think what the LF have also done is work with us in partnership to design the programme, which has now been running for 10 years plus, and the programme's evolved over the years, and they've always been responsive when we've needed to change the programme, depending on what's happening in our own institution, all the different priorities, pressures on our academic leaders. So the LF have worked with us as part of a steering group so that the programme's evolved and looks actually quite different to how it looked in 2006, I think, which was when we first started to run it.
We're talking about leadership. We're helping academics explore what leadership means to them. And I think the challenge is that, people say, well, okay, there's plenty of theories of leadership, there's plenty of ideas, but how does it actually apply to my role? How does it apply to my institution, my department, my team? And I think to get that message across, you need somebody who understands the life of an academic, understands the challenges that they're facing, that understand the journey that they're on in terms of their development. And I think the Leadership Foundation has allowed that to happen on this particular programme because, as Lynne said, the facilitators have been academics, they understand what it's like to be an academic, they understand the challenges that they face. So it gives it that real validity and that feel of genuineness, I think that's really important.
They're developing skills that will help them in this role, which might be a 5-year role. In terms of impact on their longer term career, yes, a number of our senior people, Pro-Vice Chancellors, Deans, Directors of Institutes have been on the programme much earlier in their career. Also, some people have done our Academic Leaders programme and gone off elsewhere in the sectors to more senior roles. So it has added to careers. But what I would say is very much about the role that they're doing currently, because we typically get them at the beginning of their 5-year stint as a head of school or a dean.
And I've had conversations with people who've been on the programme, who've been a head of department and said, well, actually, I've got a taste for this now. I want to stay in this kind of role where I can influence policy going forward. And where do I go with that? Now, there may be a route within their institution. So they maybe want to become a dean or a PVC or the next role that's open to them. Or they may say, well, I still like the leadership role. Is there elsewhere within the sector that I need to go? So I think it's developing the sector as well as the institution. I'm glad to say that the majority of people do stay with Durham and Newcastle and develop their careers there. But as Lynne said, it focuses very much on their role, but I do think it does whet the appetite for other leadership opportunities. I think looking ahead, this programme we've got the opportunity to further develop it. We need to make sure that we keep an eye on the programme and the delegates and what's happening within the sector and work with the Leadership Foundation to develop this programme further. Because I think the danger would be is that we tick the box and say, oh, we've got a leadership programme and everything's fine. We know the sector's moving at a great pace. We've got to make sure that this programme keeps up with that pace, and the only way we can do that is work with people like the Leadership Foundation. So yes, it's exciting times. It is a time of rapid change, but it's about how we work together in partnership to develop something that gives our participants the skills that they need.
I think one of the real benefits for me of the Academic Leaders Programme as a new head of school was the opportunity to step back from the day-to-day running of the school and have an opportunity to have some time and some space to think about what a leader can be, should be, how I could think about my leadership role within the school. And linked to that, I think, just to get some very practical tips and suggestions from the course leaders on some of those things that I think all new heads of school probably struggle with, which are about influencing your colleagues, trying to get them to do things that they don't want to do, managing difficult conversations that you're going to have with colleagues, and also about how you manage upwards in the institution, so how you advocate for your school and make sure that your points are getting through to Pro-Vice-Chancellor level and perhaps ultimately to Vice-Chancellor level.
The programme was really very important to me, not only at the time but also in the successive roles that I've taken on since moving on from being head of department. And I guess there are a number of things that it's really helped me with. One was about some strategic planning, so there's a real emphasis there, and it's helped me in thinking a bit more about strategic thinking across different roles. The second area has been about resource management, and particularly how I dealt with tricky situations in relation to people who've been working under me in the various roles. And I suppose more broadly, the third area was about peer support, and that really helped me just to improve my level of confidence, and I felt that I've been much better prepared to the roles that I've been in subsequent to taking on the programme. The absolute best bit of the course for me was being exposed to people who I didn't know so well, including people from Newcastle University, as well as other people from Durham who worked in different faculties. Getting that different range of experiences and context was really important, to be able to see that people were working in different places but facing pretty much similar challenges was really positive.